I'm just gonna go ahead and roll.
Okay.
I think that's the idea. Are we just doing the D20, or are we doing with the D100 as well? D100.
Just the D20 for this one.
Okay. 12.
6.
15.
Yeah, sorry.
Crystal, I don't know if you said it, but I couldn't hear you.
12.
Okay, so then it should be 16, 12, or am I hearing numbers again?
I think that's
No.
right.
Yeah, I think Heidi got a 15. Roya got
Mhm.
Virtue got a 15. Roya got a 12, and then I got a 6.
All right, then we will start it off. Virtue. Oh, that'll be a fun one.
Yes.
If you are forced to choose between saving yourself this is an established no-win situation, would you choose to go down with your team or break off to try and save yourself?
Ooh. Oh. Well. She might go down with the team, but there's a part of me that might want to label her as cowardly, but I think go down with the team. For guilt, if nothing else.
Huh.
Interesting.
At least one person
Alrighty
in the
then.
party has that mindset, so I guess that's good.
Probably a good thing.
Definitely not some every man for themselves in this party, I'm certain.
Oh, no, never.
It depends on how
Oh.
close he is with his crew. Do you mind if I call you the crew? Sorry, that's bad.
You can get those in this game. You understand there are people who are desperate enough to work in those kind of conditions for
Those
like
poor
survivable coin.
Yeah.
There's a literal company that call themselves the Meat Shields. They understand
themselves-
exactly how this works, and they said, like, as long as the money is there, that's what we're here for.
people. Okay.
Fair enough.
All more power to them.
I mean, I'm certainly not going to stop them. Unless they try
This is
stopping
what
me.
I
guess.
pay them for. Like, unless you don't pay them, you have likely no problem. They've embraced the NPC lifestyle of disposable thing.
If I was still playing Neris, I'd probably and we would encounter these people, I'd probably go you understand that if you, no matter how high the amount of money is, if you die, which you seem very ready and if not enthusiastic for, you're not going to be able to spend any of that money.
But if we live, yeah.
I
like those kind of people.
Yeah. V, on the other hand, is ditto. Okay, you guys got some gumption. Got some spunk. Go for it. Live your best life.
High strength,
die
high
trying.
charisma, but negative intelligence and wisdom for these guys.
It's literally live your best life or die trying.
And party every chance you get. They're basically a frat house mercenary.
Fair enough.
This is sounding more and more tempting.
Y'all gotta find them, but they are wandering around. There's no specific place. They just wander until eventually they'll either be killed off, or they'll become even more powerful. Because people could, I level them out, so they'll grow if they don't get immediately murked, or someone doesn't send them off to fight a dragon level threat. Okay, sorry, no, tangent, sorry. Ugh, okay. Virtue's done. Royale. D20. Yours was
12.
12. Oh, cool. If you had a sibling, twin specifically, what do you think they would be? What do you think their career choice would be? Right alongside with you, or something completely different?
Huh. I would like them to have a different career choice. I would hope they wouldn't follow in my footsteps in terms of career.
There's a part of me that just wants to say, but I need them to be exactly identical to me because I may or may not need a skateboard and or alibi.
No, I'm fine getting that on my own. I don't need someone else for that. I guess just whatever would make them the happiest. Whatever
You gotta hope they're like,
whatever their little heart desires, that's what I want for them. Only the best.
that's both touching but a little. I hope that they're smart enough to not get roped into that mercenary group we just mentioned.
Oh no.
Okay, and down the line, V. Your number was a 5, 6,
6.
6.
6. And hopefully next time he'll get a... No, I'm sorry, that's bad.
If you were traveling along with a group of merchants, these guys are like they essentially would have hired you for protection if they weren't just traveling along the same path you were, and you stumble across a battlefield. Both sides have essentially taken care of each other, and now there is just the loot there. What would you do?
I mean, it kind of depends on, like, you know, what's left there, but probably see if there's...
A dragon's hoard worth of loot.
Ooh.
Anywhere from gold, items, and you are there with 4 other people. But you know you're the strongest one there, and they're all like civilian. None of them have had any form of training in their life. You, on the other hand, if you chose to, you could easily silence them.
I mean, obviously kind of depends on...
One side of the spectrum, the other one you could all just, share, take this back to wherever it is you guys go home, and each of you live off this, like, for generations to come, and you'd be fine.
I mean, this is kind of like I assume that part of the situation is they are also wanting to take this horde. They're wanting to...
I mean, they see it and no one else here. But what would you do? Because we're not sure what they would do. You can think what they might do, but what are you going to do?
I mean, definitely start digging in, getting probably the easiest to transport stuff. Because it seems like this is out and away from civilization, and it's not going to do too much good if we can't actually get this to actually a place where we can use it. Probably, I'm not opposed to, especially with a horde this big, not opposed to them taking a decent share, but probably try and... Partially also depends on, like, what the dynamic has been. Like, if they've been chill, then that's yeah, again, like, it's fine for them to take their share, especially if they're being nice. But if they're being kind of dickish, I might either try to sneak extra, or depending on how bad, probably maybe a good old knife in the back. There's no cops, there's no laws if there are no cops around.
When there's no cops around, everything is legal.
That's the line. Everything is legal when there's no cops around. But yeah, no, he believes in, if you treat me right, I'll treat you right. If you treat me wrong, I will not forget. That sort of thing. So
I don't hold grudges, but I remember debts.
that's a good way of putting it, I think. Maybe not to the letter, but he probably would hold a grudge. But Yeah, kind of. I think ultimately try and work up with these merchants to try and get as much of this gold to civilization again so we can spend it and use it. Because the worst case scenario is he's the only one taking stuff back, and not necessarily the worst case scenario, but he doesn't want it to go to waste. And he definitely doesn't want it to go to waste on somebody bad, but, if these people are pretty nice, pretty chill, he will work with them to try and get more, both for himself and for others. That was kind of a long roundabout answer, but, I think that gets the gist.
Alrighty then. And that concludes the warm-up. And we continue as you guys make your way from the farm. And good old, and I'm just going to call him McGucket from now on because that's just who he is at this point.
That's fair.
And as he questions why you've not left for the third time, as you guys have already left him, to sputter.
We're going.
Alright, and y'all remember, faster you do this, and well, no, not necessarily carefully, but the more the stuff you bring back intact, the more you get.
Right, because it's, I think, was it 10 gold per crystal we bring back? I think that's what it was.
50.
Oh, 50.
It was for every head of the creatures who took it back.
Okay.
The actual items, I believe, if intact and non-harmed, I believe it was 100 according to this, unless I said something else.
No, yeah, I know the
nice.
crystals were more.
Yeah, the less intact or in things it is, it'll go down to 90, 80, 75, 50.
So pristine condition.
There'd be no, essentially. And you know that if you see them eating this stuff, it means they're likely going to get stronger. They're essentially eating an unknown form of magic, and it can either kill them or make them worse.
Damn, now I kind of want to eat it. I know this is kind of ironic considering the Monday session we just had.
Look, I'm not saying that you may not have I mean, you're all familiar with wild magic, and that's depending on what you roll if you do it.
I might try it later. Obviously, we need to get this stuff first.
It's a weird thing what happens when you introduce filtered raw magic into something that doesn't use it versus something that does use it.
Yeah. And to be honest, I think, again, depends on the situation, but probably want 100 gold more than 50-50 chance of death.
I mean, you hope it's death in this version.
That's also true.
But then
could be
there's
death,
also
could be
that
worse.
chance of greatness.
Yeah, there is a small chance of something great happening. And
I'm not saying that this, depending on how magically inclined you are, could be interesting. But that's a risk I'd honestly consider talking over with the people who work with it. But if you want to gulp it down and just consider this a mission failed and just bring back the heads for the money and just say you kept all the stuff for yourself, that's a way to go.
Yeah, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
This is something that he's thinking about. He's not necessarily planning on doing. Just I wonder what would happen.
Pros and cons.
Third arm?
What would people with this level of magic and access to some real interesting crafting stuff do to people if they ever found out about this? I wonder.
Yeah, sorry. So I think we're following the trail.
Yep.
Are you still on from last week's game? It's over. You fell asleep.
No, I just yawn at random times.
All right. Yeah, no. Make your way down the path, and you see that you are heading down gentler slope. And there is no path on this side. You're in the straight wilderness, more like roaming fields, cliff edge, roughly mile and a half to the southeast before you hit the shoreline, which is just cliff, jagged edged, and no real beaches.
All right. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I don't know if there's more.
Let's move on, I guess.
No, that's it. What do you guys want to do?
Well, do we see the trail continuing
I
somewhere?
guess
Or
go
does it
find
just
the
stop?
critters.
The trail you were following, yeah, no, that does go into it, but it does eventually bleed out, and there is no longer something to follow, but you do have the general direction it was going. But you did see it, like, swerve back and forth a bit from a few places where you saw something be dropped on the ground, several places of disturbed earth before it was again either moved or simply lifted, or continuing again down this makeshift.
Okay. Do you guys want to continue going in this direction, or do you guys want to check and see if we can find anything else here before we... I guess it's just kind of one of those two.
How about we go ahead and move in this direction? See what we can find.
Let's
Going this
keep
way.
walking, I guess.
And you continue. And does someone want to just roll me a d20?
I'll roll. Or I guess Heidi's gonna roll.
Or maybe you should roll.
I mean, either way. 2.
Maybe Heidi should have rolled.
A 2. That's cool. Roll me a d4.
D4. 3. Rolled higher on the D4 than the D20.
3, you say.
Yep.
Cool. And as you guys make your way
Oh,
down
boy.
this path, roughly half an hour later, and through one of the hills, you see a group of deer mounting their way in front of the party. As you guys kind of see the antlers on these guys. Some look the way you've seen deer look on the continent, but others think God of War, just luminescent white antlers, some glowing different colors. No real rhyme or reason to it, just looks like someone strapped on some of the glow sticks you'd find at a rave under these deer for whatever reason. And can someone actually now? What do you guys do?
I'm curious, what are the deer doing? Are they grazing? Are they...
Have
Looking-
they
They
noticed
having
us?
some
seem
deer
to just-
tenderloin tonight.
They just seem to be making their way through this patch of grove, in this little divot that you just essentially came around a hill, making their own way. But as soon as they got roughly within 30 feet of you guys, they didn't seem to more or less notice that someone was there until they eventually just looked up into the side, and they're just giving you guys that curious deer stare down. Before some of them just, for no reason, all go back to grazing. Some just slowly move on ahead. They don't get more than 20 feet from each other, but there are roughly 24 deer in this entire.
Heidi, you were saying something as well?
Oh, I was just saying somebody's having some deer tenderloin tonight. I was joking.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I mean, you have Firebolt, I think, so why not give it a shot? Kill and cook all in one go.
Immediately cast Pass Without
No.
Trace on myself.
Oh no, I was.
I'm kidding.
It is up, and it is affecting everyone. Is there anything
Oh,
else?
I was just kidding. I was only going to do that if she launched a fireball.
No.
Let's see. No, I don't think there's anything I'm gonna do other than just marvel at them, I suppose, see what their behavior is.
They're just chilling out there. A few of the larger bucks seem to be roughly 4 in this group. Only 2 of them have like the color-coded antlers. The other 2 just look normal, but they are all massive. Like 12 and 13 pointers. Big guys. The others are a few fawn mixed in, and maybe there are 3 small goats. Like the small little.
So my curiosity is getting the best of me here. I want to approach the deer.
Alright, now how are you doing this? Aggressively, stealthily, calmly?
Calmly?
Everybody, passive perception. I need the passive perception of everybody.
16.
Now that you're approaching. 16. 14.
I am very
14.
cautiously, like you're approaching like a wild dog, gonna try and approach these deer.
I had a question as well, but I don't know if you want to resolve this first.
Alright, the only one who'll notice this will be Roya. Out of all the deer, the random grazers, you notice that there's one in the middle to the far back left that's had their eyes on your group non-stop, and now they're slowly following you as soon as you like stepped forward and made yourself to approach. This one specific deer is eyeing you. It has no glowing antlers, but you notice that some of its fur, longer things and along its tail is braided. There are also a few feathers weaved into one of the antler sides. And it is just staring at you intently.
It's got
Not blinking, nothing.
I will continue my march forward. I want.
Alright, you're now within 20.
Shape?
You got 20 feet. Keep going.
I want to pet
Wild
one of
shape?
these.
Which one? Are you approaching
Whichever
the
one
bucks,
is the
the
closest.
doves, or the smaller ones?
Whichever one's
They're all
closest
roughly in a
to me.
group. If you'd like to choose one, or I could just roll for it.
I'm going for one of the bucks.
Alright. Now, you said you were approaching slowly and calmly, yes?
Yes.
And that's all you're doing.
Yes.
Alright, then you're going to need to roll me this with disadvantage.
Okay. What am I rolling?
Animal handling. And just like a thing for next time, like any kind of food or show of like, for most of these animals when you're doing this thing, even a call just to try to calm them down will help. I have no idea how into the hunting thing you are, so like if you would know that or not.
No, she wouldn't. I didn't make her proficient in animal handling. She's proficient in survival. Cool.
Then she could totally track a herd of these babies down, no problem. Yeah. But you know,
but actually,
trying to peacefully interact with them.
This is a new territory for her. I'm not trying to kill these for meat and furs.
Not trying to murder. Huh.
Yeah, I rolled a 15 and then I rolled a 1, so that's a 4 total.
Cool. Cool. You were
go well.
picking one of the stags, and he has these beautiful, glistening silver horns. It almost looks like there's fog coming off.
Oh.
And you slowly approach, and he doesn't seem to be moving away or towards. So you think you got maybe a good chance, and you're trying to pet him like what? The horn, the head, like loop his nose, just the side of his neck or his like mane or body?
Probably the top of his head.
And you do go there, and as soon as you get within 5 feet of him and reach out, and you're just about to stroke what looks to be the softest pinch of fur right on his head, which is oddly enough shaped like a crescent moon in black fur on his forehead, the temperature around your hand drops like a snap chill, and you take 2 points of ice.
Okay, not as bad as it could have been.
Sure. Now this happens, but it's not. This isn't something that was just done to stop you. This was just you hitting your hand in the vicinity of this specific bug. You're free to continue or not if you choose.
I am going to assume that this is just like a natural aura that they give off, and I'm going to continue.
Maybe something against someone they don't necessarily trust to just give off a natural, or maybe it could be an unconscious defense against things.
Yeah, that's
he hasn't necessarily tried to attack you yet or anything. He's just there looking to confirm, what the hell are you?
Yeah. So it's not like they're, purposely trying to get me to leave or anything, so I'm gonna keep going.
I mean, I guess that's not as bad as it could be.
Okay. Roll me another animal handling check. No, roll me a charisma check first, and then that'll decide how this animal handling will go.
So is this going to decide whether or not I roll my animal handling with disadvantage, or?
It'll decide a few things, actually, but that'll be one.
Because I rolled another one. I am on fire today, guys.
Cool. Animal handling with disadvantage. And the one deer that you saw that has taken its eyes off of you is disappeared from the herd.
Oh, that's not good.
In that quick look around, you can't seem to find it.
It's fine.
And you're the only one that saw this thing.
You're the only one who noticed that specific deer that is not acting like the other, just grazing. Most of them look at you, but eventually just say whatever and go back to grazing, and then look up and say, oh, it's still here.
We're fine. It's okay. Nothing serious. Rolled a 12.
12? Hey, that's better. Very much better.
I'm improving.
Back to Virtue and B. You guys just sitting there watching this, just letting her do her thing, or is there anything you'd like to do before we get into this next part?
I'm just gonna kind of lean over.
I suppose continue on.
I was just gonna lean over to Virtue while Roy is dealing with all this, and just kind of say, "What do you think her game plan is here? Is she just trying to do this for the aesthetic, or does she have a goal?"
Yes, for a game.
Roya seems to be one who doesn't do things just for style. I would gather, at least.
Oh yeah, that's what I was thinking as well, but I don't see necessarily I get this, pet the deer, but that doesn't it doesn't have a practical. I guess I'm just curious. You've known her specifically for longer, so. Yeah. Okay. Just.
I might be just curious.
Maybe we'll ask later. Do you think another one's gonna get angry at her? Do you think that she's gonna get mauled by a deer? A buck?
Mauled by a deer?
It's quite possible.
We could.
Hey, weirder things have
only
happened
wonder
here.
And pray.
I meant to say gored, but my mind went to mauled because that's the typical animal.
That'd be way worse and weirder.
I've seen art of predator deer.
I have antlers that could rip you to pieces, but I'm gonna nibble on you until you go
Delicious.
away.
I was thinking deer, but with fangs and claws, cross between a deer and a lion.
Yeah, you've not gotten that deep into the woods yet.
Fair enough.
So that's what you guys are doing, and you rolled a 12 on that animal handling,
Yep.
Roya.
I sure did.
And you successfully pet this deer.
Yes.
And take another 4 points of cold damage, as while it's not negatively reacting to you, gently, hope so, touching the top of its forehead, and you feel that even its fur, you could have sworn you were petting this going on a mountain top. That's what it feels like.
Huh.
But so far, it's not that. And you notice that the horns are what's likely generating this cold, because that is where there is now visible fog coming over.
I'm gonna start slow golf clapping. Not making a ton of audible sound, but just kind of for the effect of it.
The second you do that, every head but the one she's petting snaps to you in unison.
Oh no.
And you're now being stared down by a large herd of deer. Like this is more or less a calm meadow. Any sound, unless you're like being super quiet.
No, I'm like again like golf clap levels, like tiny. That sort of. I don't know if you heard that, but like.
Oh yeah, no, and they did too, and they look at you for that split second, and just as soon as they realize, what it is, who's making it, immediately back to their own thing.
All right.
Yeah, no, most deer, like if you've ever gone out hunting, anything, even if it's not you, when you're going after them, they'll check to like find out what it is. Even if they can't, eventually they'll just either move away or just go back to grazing.
Fair enough. They either care or they don't.
Quick, random thought. If you've ever had a chance to go deer hunting while on ATVs, do it. It's amazing.
Okay.
It's the only way to catch up if they start running. Fuckers.
Oh no, they're quick. Fair enough.
You need a four-wheeler full of gas for that one.
Is it like one driver, like two people on an ATV, one driver, one
If you're
shooter?
smart, that's what you do. If you're not, you have to like hope you know how to let it steer, or you're not on nothing too uneven to fuck up with your shot, because you get one shot before you have to go back, or you're likely turning off to something.
Fair enough.
And watch out for lions.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I'm just reminded of the "Watch out for falling deer" sign. Mountain lions like to hide their food in the trees, and it's like, but no warning about the mountain lions.
Oh my goodness.
No, they're never gonna be there, because if they're gonna go after you, they're not gonna make themselves known. If you run into one at random, you're either gonna fight it or you're not. And the deer carcass, depending on how well they hit it, is just gonna fall.
Fair enough. How securely they keep it in there?
I mean, the most eerie thing you're gonna find is one that slipped it, or they somehow managed to like hang it by its horns, and that is eerie as shit, because it looks like it's floating in the tree.
Yeah, that would be pretty spooky. That would be not a sight that, especially at night. Like, I'm just imagining that probably is, how a number of horror stories happen.
If it still has its face and its eyes, light reflects off that thing like you wouldn't believe.
Fair enough. Anyway, we should probably keep going with the game.
Off the path of this, back on track. Now, you are currently petting this deer, but at a cost of some slowly frostbiting fingers, but you are petting this deer. And if you could like immortalize this in a picture or something, you could probably show this off to some people. Kirk would be like...
That's exactly what
he'd be pretty jealous.
Pretty jealous.
I got to pet this cool deer.
I'm just gonna kind of like quietly whisper, like loud enough that she can hear it, but like, are you good? You getting what you wanted out of this?
Roll your nod.
Cool.
And you hear in a very broken and misshapen common, in the tiniest, squeakiest little voice, what is your purpose? Only you hear this, but it is out loud.
Huh.
Roya, I assume?
Roya. Yeah, Roya.
To pet the deer?
Why?
Because it looked fun?
Ah, that's the answer.
It looked like you would feel nice.
And then you look behind the deer you were petting, hiding or shambling up behind it, is a small 2.5 foot creature with one side of its head has protruding antlers growing out of its head. until you notice these aren't actual antlers, they're tree branches. Like a branch that seems to gnaw around its head, almost like a half crown. Small glowing leaves. It's covered in furs. Looks like deer fur, but it's smaller. You'd swear this thing could have easily been a kid if it didn't just talk to you and it looks to be like using a small, gnarled little bit of staff, which you do notice the staff he's using is in fact an antler. It's the same one you saw, braided with feathers and some beads, a few trinkets, bobs and ends. And it does fully come out and reveal itself, and just seems to be looking up and talking to you. It is wearing a strange little mask, and you're able to see that this is in fact a native of the island, the smallest one you've ever seen, but this does fit their aesthetic very.
Huh. Roya's gonna try and pet him.
I want you to roll me another animal handling check with disadvantage.
Okay.
Also, he is 2.5 feet tall. Like, you're gonna have to either bend down really, like, a lot, or just, take a knee or something.
And this disadvantage is no fun. I rolled a 6.
Oh.
Okay, as soon as you pat your head down, the deer that you were petting now does take an official, a little more sterner stance. Not necessarily aggressive, but sterner, and does swat your hand away with one of its antlers. And you take 1 point of piercing damage. No frost this time. Just, he just poked you very deliberately with one of the horns.
Ow.
Not always fun to get poked.
And all of you guys now see that now the deer is fully turned and slapped your teammate's hand. There is a small, tiny creature with, as I described, the one-gnarled horn crown, second antler as a staff. It's 2.5 feet tall, dressed in spurs and leathers. It's tiny. You could mistake this for a child, but that can't really see its face because it's kind of obscured by a little mask.
V just kind of goes, "Oh shit, we got a little guy over there."
Mm-hmm.
Little dude.
We should go talk to him.
Roya, you good over there? I guess that wasn't that loud, but he didn't say that. He said that at normal volume.
Yeah, I think I'm okay.
Who's the guy?
Good question. She's gonna turn back to the little guy. So you don't like to be touched. I get it.
I wish to know why you wish to do so. Is this your custom?
I also wish to know why. No, impulse? Impulse. Have you ever just...
Undisciplined, then.
Free-spirited is a better word for it.
More discipline.
You're not gonna smack my hand again. Okay, anyways. Are you
gonna try and pet him again?
No. I've been rolling this entire time. My rolls have just been god-awful, which is why Roy is doing these weird things. She has no restraint right now.
Yeah, it's not fun being Zimzu when it's your turn, is it? You feel like an idiot. But it's so fun.
Fun idiot.
You know what? I've committed. So...
Gotta commit to it, yeah.
Are you... in charge of these deer? They're guardian... What? Why are you here?
My name is Yarami. I am the shepherd.
So, like their guardian.
I watch over the flock, but I leave to them how they wish to.
So they're also free-spirited.
They are unchained. They are not, as to my knowledge, foolish. They would not be here if they were. Some have not come back.
I couldn't help but notice that some of these deer look different than normal deer.
Some have been given audience. Some haven't.
What does that mean?
You are not of the island, so it would mean little if I explained it. But they have been granted gifts. For what purpose, I could not say.
But not dangerous, right? They won't suddenly just attack people for no reason, or I don't know, steal things from people's farms.
Is there a reason for this to happen?
No?
Most things have reason to happen. If you believe something will happen, you will likely know a reason for it.
Well, yes. I guess you're right. I'm being lectured by philosophy by a 5-year-old.
Who is it?
He says he's the shepherd.
What? Where's the sheep?
Maybe it's better if you stay over there.
Okay.
Have you seen anyone with these crystals? And she'll start to describe the crystals as best as she can.
I know of the incident you refer to. I have met them before.
Them being the thieves.
No, the growers.
Oh.
They who stumbled upon an old secret, and yet have not been seen. Not for me to say.
Yeah, they are in need of help again, which is why we're here. Have you seen anyone who's not them? Maybe running away from their farm with a bunch of crystals?
Myself, no. I can ask if any have seen. We are not always in union. We often scatter before returning. I can ask if any have seen what you described.
Yeah, that would be wonderful.
A moment. And you see him slowly begin to wild shape. He is now half as tall as this buck. As you see, even in wild shape, he's tiny.
No, Roya, don't pet him.
But he is the size, or he does look exactly like one of these normal bucks, but he's got, the one actual wooden antler you can now see looks like a piece of a tree is on one side, and the staff that he uses is his other antler.
Huh.
And he's just going around, and he does stop every once in a while to also graze with the deer before he goes and just starts you assume talking with them, but it takes him a few, roughly 5 to 4 minutes to talk to all the deer here. What do you guys like? What would you guys like to do?
He's asking the deer about the crystals.
You can do that? Oh, okay. Should we get closer? I'm just
Roya
gonna
shrugs.
get closer. V's gonna
Yeah,
approach and just kind of wave to this
Cool. How close
deer.
you getting?
Like 5 feet back from where Roy is.
Cool. Roll me a quick animal handling. Disadvantage.
Animal handling.
Yeah, you're in short. You've stepped into their very specific bubble, and now they have to judge whether. Well, let's see how they react to you.
The first one was an 18. Second one, okay, so I do have a +1, so that's a 7.
It's a 7. Cool. Well, they all look at you, and this time it's the second buck with the glowing yellow and orange horns that seems to have taken lead with you and is just standing in front. No closer than the other deers. You're still roughly 5 feet away. You said, what, 10? How far away were you from Roya?
I think it was 10 feet back.
10 feet from Roya, but the other buck has joined her, and the first buck, number 2, is now just essentially staring you down, but not doing anything.
He'll just kind of put his hands up, not really doing anything with them, but just kind of like, whoa, okay, I'm stopping.
Yeah, they really don't like you.
And as soon as you do that, his horns catch on fire.
Oh, that's cool. That is pretty cool.
Yeah, no. Not saying it's impossible, but if you were to somehow convince these guys to be mounts, these guys are well enough equipped to handle themselves in most situations.
Nice.
So what you're saying is I need to get one of these as a mount.
I mean, if you can convince it and
I think I
or
bonded with
tame
the
it,
ice one for a
or
while.
It's giving you cold damage when you're just petting it, so
I
I don't know how the
bonded.
riding experience.
you also got to learn how to ride these things and how to not
Not get
convince
burned.
it not to buck you off immediately or attack you at some. Because if it wakes up one day and says, "Who the hell are you?" headbutt, it's gonna hurt.
If I've learned anything from Legend of Zelda, I just gotta pat it a couple times.
Roll me high enough survival. There are rules for taming, and like I said, roll high enough and interact. And Legend of Zelda is not too far off on that.
Fair enough, I guess.
Unless you got a way to talk to it and or make it smart enough to have a decent conversation.
Yeah.
That's how I got one of my mounts, Brace of Intelligence. You don't need to have one that's that powerful. Just get it high enough to where it's got higher levels of brain function in there, and you can strike a deal.
Yeah, this is also true. Just pat. I'm just remembering Satori, the god lord of the mountain. He just hop on and you can ride around on basically a demigod.
I mean, there's that, but you could also go for Ganon ships.
This is also true.
Although at some point, if you want, you can just do the hover scooters.
So
All right. If nothing else,
Do
if no one
you
else
wanna
is doing
pet
anything,
I think you should try and pet him. It looks like he might let you.
I think I'm gonna let him cool off before I do anything like that. Pun intended.
I really want to tease him a bit, but I won't.
Don't want to bust out laughing right in the middle of this herd of superpowered deer.
I mean, what's the worst that could happen?
Is that a challenge?
No, my life motto.
That's a good one.
Okay, if there's anything else you'd like to do, he seems to be close to finishing up his talk or making his rounds. Last call. If you're going to slaughter them all or try to get them on your team, now's the time.
I mean, actually, do I have any food? I don't think I have any food that the deer would like. If you guys have that, though, it's a thought.
Part of me that wants to question that, but I'm going to let you guys make your own assumptions.
I probably do, but Roya thinks that she bonded a lot with this ice one, so she's not pushing her luck.
Okay, I'll put it this way. V, do you have any rations with you?
I believe so. Does that just work?
You would know that the rations you pick for that is either dried meat, jerky. It's the stuff. It's basically the trail mix of food that like you can survive off this, but none of it's like the kind of food you'd want like home, traveling, or stale. But some of it you could pick apart. Some things to keep these guys. Probably not the meat or jerky.
Yeah.
These guys seem to be more on they're eating grass in front of them. Although the one that just lit himself on fire doesn't seem eating any.
Yeah, I kind of want to try and get a good impression on that one, but I don't think I've got the stuff for that, both mechanically and he just seems agitated. I mean, I could try picking up the grass, but I don't think that's necessarily going to be a good impression either.
Yeah, just free bit of advice. Maybe ask the shepherd.
Yeah, but he's busy talking with other deer, and he's also a deer.
Yeah, he can talk to other deer. Wonder
That's
what
fair.
he can ask their other stuff. It's all about connections, networking. Come on, you want this deer mount or not?
These are apparently not the... Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine.
So these are apparently not the creatures we're looking for, I don't think?
Unless they...
No, you seem to have just stumbled across the path of a wandering herd of deer.
Random encounter.
Yeah, because as of yet, these guys have not shown, at least not many of them, have shown the symptoms of like the stones, and they also don't have anything with them. They're just traveling around doing.
Let's are there any berries or any is there any food near like berries or stuff we could scavenge?
Apparently no, the nearest bush is about 30 feet to the left. There are a few scattered around this place, but all of them are pretty sparse here. It's a pretty clear field. That's how you are able to notice them, and they noticed you immediately. So you do now notice that the one deer was looking at you, his feet around his ankles. There's no more grass there, it's just dirt. And he's moved it around a bit, and there's a large rock, and he just goes down very quickly and just snatches it, eats that. And it's weird because now even the inside of his mouth is glowing.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's safe to try and give him food right now, so I'm just gonna kind of give him some space and just kind of observe.
Waiting for the shepherd to come back.
And he does. He does. And he just steps up to you in his small deer form. And I gotta roll something. And he starts talking for a split second before he stops, and he just looks down and then back up and slowly transforms back into himself with this slow realization that you can't understand him as a deer. I have spoken to my flock. Some have said they spotted what you described. Some went further and then did not return. If you go and find me, man, if you could let me know where when you return. If you return, I would reward this.
Sure.
Yes. I don't think we have any objections to that. Bring back the deer.
One of mine is willing to guide you, if you wish.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Did they say anything about, like, what, like, were there any creatures that were messing with the crystals or near the crystals?
Only that they saw a group at night traveling with glowing stones.
Did
Large glowing stones.
Did he say knights?
At night.
Oh, at night. Okay. That makes more sense. Nocturnal, or at least did the job in the night. Alright. I guess let's follow the deer.
Let's follow the deer.
Wait, before you go. And he points to the deer that you've been petting that you believe you've gotten a bond with. He wishes to make amends as you're helping bring back family. And you see this large doe essentially before looking at all of you guys. He just essentially does a quick, it almost looks like an odd kind of bow until you realize that the mist coming off his horns is starting to thicken. And it's hitting the ground, and for a split second it looks like some of it is starting to ice over very slowly. Until from the center, out of the ice, snaps and breaks open what looks like a perfect, looks almost like a small sunflower. The petals are made out of ice.
Oh.
The rest of it is plant. If you would accept the gesture. By the stem, do not touch petals. Consume 2. There are 10 total. Take with you.
Okay. I'm gonna go and try and pluck the sunflower. By the stem.
Okay, how do you do it?
I am going to try and grab the sunflower by the closest part to the ground and pluck it from there. I am trying to be really cautious not to touch them.
And by the stem, you do so. And you now have it up and in the air. And it's, you know those long-stemmed roses?
Yeah.
It's roughly the size of that. So you've seen the big-ass sunflowers. This is definitely a small one, but you can clearly see the ice petals. And you can also recall what he said. So what do you do?
He said to take 2 of them, right? Is that? I want to make sure I heard correctly.
Do not touch petals, but consume 2 of them.
Consume. I guess just...
I'm gonna try and eat one of them.
Only 1 or 2?
I'm gonna try to eat one and hope I don't die by this. And then if I don't die, I'll eat the other one.
Alright. You bite into the first one, and it is like biting into a piece of... It's cold to the touch, but almost immediately after, it melts. What do you do?
I bite the second one.
and the same thing happens, but colder. You can feel it. It's like you've taken just the largest gulp of an iced drink. It's nice. But you've now bitten down to 2.
I will not bite anymore. I will just kind of hold it back.
Are you one of those sickos that bites into ice cream?
Apparently, I am now.
Yes, so. Now, do you consume?
Yes.
Roll me 2d8.
Okay. 5 and a 3.
You regain 8 hit points and have 4 temporary hit points that can come back every for the next 24 hours. Those temp HP pop back every hour.
Oh.
Nice.
And as soon as you finish, it melts and wilts and almost turns into fog. Like it just evaporates from your hand.
Oh.
That was the deer casting the spell Cure Wounds.
Ah.
Neat.
Nice. Okay. I had temporary hit points already. That is still at 11 from the wife.
These will essentially increase those, but once you lose those original 11, you'll still come back to them.
Okay. I'll take them.
The magic from this place seems to meld unnaturally well with most things. But yeah, now you've got it, and you've also got, now that you've noticed, there is a small, this is in fact a doe that's leading you guys. Think Bambi, but his horns are barely starting to poke out of his head.
Oh.
And he is the one who seems to be coming to guide you.
I'm kind of going to ask the shepherd real quick before we kind of get taken off. Out of curiosity, how did you end up leading this flock? I don't know what the name for a group of deer is offhand.
A herd?
Herd. Is it a herd of deer? Or is it like, because it's like a murder of crows and a school of fish?
It's a herd of deer.
Okay. And yeah, this is like the like
Horde of owls,
audibly,
pride of lions.
yeah. This is like the like audibly like is it what is it for deer?
They probably have a specific name, but I just go with herd.
That works. But yeah, no, I'm asking the shepherd how he kind of came to take care of this herd.
When I began my journey in the wilds of home, I became a place of safety for them. They did not leave, I did not dissuade them, and here we are.
I see. Well, best of luck with taking care of them. I guess, I don't know how in tune you are with the rest of the civilization, but I guess keep an eye out. Because, yeah. There's
We
probably...
will be wary. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anyone tell you you have a way with words, V?
Actually, multiple times, and yeah, no, I'm kind of not on a hot streak right now. That's me, not V.
Well,
I guess we should get going.
and grace to you in your journey. May the trees on your path always bear you fruit. And so you part, and this guy just slowly disappears into his flock. Don't know if he joined them in his deer form again or what, but they are slowly moving away.
Short guy. All right. Well, I guess we'll see if we see him anymore.
Mm-hmm. Very
May or may not.
Small deer,
strange, ominous kind of fellow.
For all I know, he may very well. We may never see him again, or we'll see him regularly. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this is like where he stays, or he goes into town, or I don't know. We'll find out.
there's a small, young adult deer bleeding at you all, roughly 30 feet in front of you.
Okay, we're going.
Do we get a name? Like as we're walking away, I like. turn
No
to
one
the-
asked
Did
for
we
a
get
name.
Wait, no, he gave me his name.
No, the deer.
Oh, the deer we're following? No.
You know the name of the shepherd, but you did not ask for the name of your guide.
Yeah.
I mean, if we aren't too far back, I'll just kind of like poke my head back around, I don't know, the corner, and ask, did the deer have a name we should know? We can call him?
They are gone.
Yeah, they're gone. We will actually like just like turn back and say, yeah, they're gone.
Great. Okay.
Yeah, we can just call him Deer.
Deer it is.
I like the name Bambi for him. It just feels right.
It feels ominous.
Bambi?
Something bad's gonna happen.
Nothing bad has
Are
ever
you-
happened to a Bambi.
So how close are you guys all when you go and say this?
Oh no.
Pretty close. I'm just creeping in the background.
Alright. And you then hear a gunshot
Oh fuck.
This is your
in the distance.
We should.
Probably
Well, let's go
nothing to do
towards
with you
that.
guys.
Should we check on that? We should probably check on that, right?
Let's check on that. Let's
I
go
mean, we
do that.
should.
Going now.
Oh, there she goes.
And the young deer that's literally in the opposite direction is just standing there bleeding at all of you.
Should somebody stay with the deer? Can we convince the deer to come back with us for a bit to find out what's going on?
I don't mind staying
You
with
can
the deer.
certainly try.
I'll
Um,
stay with the deer. You guys can go on your adventures.
How far away was this
Yeah,
gunshot?
let's go.
How far away was this
You
gunshot?
heard this coming from the west. You can't say exactly how near or far. Just you know the general direction you think it's coming from.
Okay.
And
I
going
guess-
down that way, you've got another. You've easily got 2 to 3 miles of little hills before you start hitting thicker forest that you came in the wild.
To follow this deer?
To follow the sound of the gunshot.
Okay.
That sound came from the opposite side. Where you guys
So
were.
it's probably miles away because we would be able to see it if it was closer.
If it was close, you would have likely seen it or heard more of it. This was a loud echo.
You know what? I don't think we're gonna get there.
Definitely.
Oops, sorry, yeah. You're saying something?
You know it's distinctive because of how loud it was. The fact that you could hear it, but you're not able to see it in the area around. So whatever this was powerful, but not in your general vicinity.
You know what? I don't think we're gonna get back there in time, so I'm sure he's got it handled. He seems like he's taken care of stuff like that before. So let's just kind of finish the job and we'll see what happens. I'm like kind of like
I have
saying
no
this.
idea what you think that has to do with anything.
I mean, I'm assuming that there's at least a chance that was involving the flock or the herd we just left and the shepherd. That somebody like found them and like
I'll
we
give
chased
you
him.
this freebie. Nothing to do with that. It's actually something completely different.
Okay. Well,
You should have
what do you
just
guys
said
think?
Phil
This is a I'll give you this. This
Why
story
don't we
is
go
happening.
investigate? I mean,
resting
it could lead to what we're
together.
looking for.
You specifically know it won't because the guide who witnessed and saw who you were after went the opposite way. But the world is itself alive and things are happening as you do your thing. This is something that's happening alongside your adventure.
All right. Fair
What
enough.
you do or how you choose to react to it
Okay.
is your
Well-
thing. Like I said, you might find about it later. You may never hear about it again.
Fair enough.
Or
well, I
like you
guess
said,
we're
you could
here for
go.
the creatures then.
You could go and track that down and figure out what it is immediately, or you can do what you were going to do originally.
Well, what do you guys think?
I think we should stay on task.
I'm thinking the same thing because we don't have much communication with
Yeah,
this.
let's do that.
I was about to say goat. This is not a goat.
Did you call it a sheep earlier?
Yep.
Well, I mean, a shepherd is specifically referring to like a sheep herder, shepherd. So a shepherd is specifically typically for sheep. I joked, where are all the sheep? Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
intrigued.
no one seemed to have.
Um,
We didn't respond to that at all, so you're not sure if that landed or I don't know.
Yeah, the joke did not land.
It's hard if your language barriers, some jokes don't translate right. So that probably would have hit well, probably back in town or maybe a
Back in
tavern
town,
or
yeah.
back at home. But maybe with some of these guys, they'll think what?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if we could communicate with the deer, with Bambi, then I think we might be able to convince him to stick around while we go investigate. But since we can't, probably just going to get confused if we just start wandering off.
So at this point, you're going to notice that how close are you guys getting to the Bambi that you left roughly 30 feet ahead of you before you turned around and noticed you weren't following?
I think we're about to start moving again, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a yes?
Yes.
Cool. And you begin to follow, and he finally, once you get roughly 10 feet closer to him, you notice that he has drawn 3 different arrows in the dirt pointing in the direction he's trying to lead you, along with a couple of bark carvings onto the few of the trees that are out here.
Okay, so he's leaving us a trail of breadcrumbs for us to follow if we lag behind.
Or trying to get you guys to start moving, because from his perspective,
It's also true.
he believes as soon as you started walking you would follow, and then he turns around and you guys have just not, and some started moving away. And he got very confused and a little angry.
All right.
Yeah, we
Let's,
should definitely follow.
Yeah, let's just keep following.
I owe them. They gave me a flower.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't... I saw, you seem to have a reaction. What happened with that flower?
It was refreshing.
Is there some left? Can we try some? I guess not.
Does the flower stay? Do I just have 8 petals to use now?
No. When you consumed 2 and you felt the healing, the flower essentially turned to mist and the water melted.
No, it's gone.
This was essentially showing you the level of spell that he was using. If you'd taken any more bites, it would have just, like spilled into your hand and a little on your clothes. So you would have still gotten the healing, but it would have not looked as cool.
2 is the sweet spot. Got it.
Well,
Fair
that
enough.
or that's what he asked. He asked you to take no more than 2.
No, there's no more flour.
All right. Well,
That was
Still
his
need
gentle
seconds.
nudge of saying it was a second level healing.
can the deer cast 10th level spells?
I mean, that's something you got to look into. But the weird thing about it is,
It's
instead
like
of
the
giving you
magical
added
deer
on
thing from Princess Mononoke.
Yeah.
a little, but instead of giving you like the add-on for a modifier, that is given to you as temporary hit points that replenish every hour for the next 24 hours.
Which I
Oh
will
yeah,
take.
that is pretty cool. Pretty cool.
But it did taste like a refreshing drink of cold water.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta wonder, what would the fire one? What would that be like if it tried to cure you with fire?
Would be interesting. Yeah, there is, in mythology, there's a concept of healing fire, healing flame, but would be, I think, a bit more complicated.
I mean, depends on how nice it wanted to be about it.
It's also fair. We should keep following this deer.
There are 3 more signs, and it's just pointing at all of them.
I think we're following now. I don't
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
And as soon as you guys do, there is a look of genuine happiness on this deer, and it does a quick little leap around before it just starts going into this direction.
Oh, I
More or
am
less
going
the
to
same
try and
direction
make
you
this
were
deer my pet.
following.
Is it the same direction we were going before we ran into the deer?
Yes, but since you've lost like the original leading trail, you were only hoping they'd have stayed on the same course and not taken any detours.
So we have gotten confirmation. All right, nice.
I want to fish through my bag and try to find some nuts to feed to this deer. I want to make him my pet now.
Alrighty then.
Oh,
Go
I
ahead.
do like acorns.
I'll examine for either nuts or berries, like as we're walking, but I'll
Need a survival check from you while you're following, because this thing is moving at a decent pace, and I don't know how long you guys are going to stop. And because it is giving you guys a look back to make sure you are following roughly every 30 to 40 feet. It has a movement speed of 60.
Oh,
It's a fast.
following.
It's more like while I'm walking, I'm examining. But that was a 16 total.
16 total. Okay, yeah. Now you can see this. There's some of the larger brush in some of the areas, and you see there are some actual trees and bushes that do seem to have what you've heard are non-poisonous or edible fruits and berries. Nothing in the terms of like anything that should. So far, you haven't seen anything that would be bad to eat. Most of the stuff here looks like it'd be more or less okay to eat if you had to.
Okay, stuff. Okay, yeah, I will.
You'd be guessing on the flavor. You don't know if this would be good, bad, or just bland.
Fair enough. I'll just kind of go over and like very quickly. I think instead of like trying to like pick it, I'm gonna like just kind of like pull off like a. I assume this is like from a bush. He's gonna like.
Are you
try
grabbing
to pull
for
off
berries or fruit?
Actually, if there are fruit, then I'll go for some fruit.
All right, these are high trees though, so you're gonna have to do me a quick athletics check to see if you can like parkour, grab a piece of fruit and jump down and continue following.
I could do that, but instead I'm just gonna kind of hold my hand underneath like where the fruit is and just use telekinesis to pluck the fruit.
And with just the gesture of your hand, like you only had to see it in passing, and as soon as you walked under it, it dropped into your hand. Almost like it was planned. Choreography and everything.
Just like, yeah, perfect timing, and no, it just fell on its own.
Yeah, for a second, you think, did someone throw that at you? Because it looked like it was coming right at you, and then you just caught it. Just take a bite out of it if you want.
Yeah, I'll pull
It is
down
a strange shape, but yeah.
I'll pull down I think I'll pull down 4 if I can, and I'll try a bite out of one.
That will have you will be there for a little bit. You'll be there for a few. So like to pull down one and pull down another, that'll be there roughly 30 seconds.
I think that's fine. I'll take a couple seconds to pull that
So
down.
you're pulling down them fruits. These are mystery fruits. This is nothing like you've ever seen. So that's new. And give me another survival check just to give You've had some training in this, how to tell. There's some obvious and less obvious signs of this is likely edible and or non-poisonous, which is the main thing you're looking for.
Yeah. Not going to either kill us or give us the shits.
The main thing you're looking for.
Main thing you're looking for in a fruit. 12.
12, okay. These won't kill me. These definitely won't kill me, okay. But if I want to know what this is, I'm gonna likely have to take the bite. But you're confident that these aren't going to be lethal. These are strange because they look kind of like dragon fruit, but they are silver with notes of purple on little tips.
Interesting. I'm gonna kind of, before I go and take a bite, I'm gonna.
If you were in One Piece, you'd think you'd struck the devil tree fruit.
Nice. Yeah, I will catch up with the others before I will try taking a bite. Or try it, and then if it's too tough, then I'll consider cracking it open and peeling it, or however this fruit would work.
All right. Now, as you take a bite, as you're catching up to your friends, as you see the goat, even though one of you has stayed behind, it seems to be genuinely happy that someone else is following it. We're going to pop real quick over to Virtue. Is there anything else you'd like to do while you're following your friends and your makeshift guide?
Just wait. Basically waiting to keep following the trail.
All right.
Figure this out.
And Roya.
I want to ask the deer if I could pet it again while I'm following it.
I think this is a different deer.
This is a different deer. This one can't talk. You are able to find in your rations, from what you're able to find out, nuts, berries, most of the stuff that you have mixed in with, along with some beef jerky, dry bread. For the most part, most of the stuff would probably be safe to hand them. How they'll react to it, or if they'll even want it at all, it's a mystery in itself. But you've definitely got food to work with, unless you want to start scavenging from around.
No, I'm going to use my
rations. And you're indeed... All right, and you can mark off. You can split that specific ration that you're using for this into 5 pieces, if you want to just keep feeding it to him.
Yeah.
All right. You can roll me an animal handling check. This time, it will be a straight roll, not an advantage, because right now this deer doesn't seem to be interested in anything but getting you guys to follow. And very soon you are joined again by V, who just finished taking a large bite out of this interesting looking fruit. And I'm going to need you to roll me a quick d20.
Fair enough.
16 on the animal handling.
Let's see. 9.
That's a 9. I'm going to need you to make me a quick Constitution saving throw, please.
Oh boy. All right. Natural 1.
Woo!
Awesome. And you take a bite out of this. And, so you know that popping candy, that raw candy that you put in your mouth that just pops?
Oh, yeah? Does it do that? It's an explosion of flavor.
Just not in a good way.
I mean, it could taste great, and I'm just like taken off guard. Maybe.
You know what? You're right. It could. It could. It probably won't, but it could.
Yeah, probably not. I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's something else.
So you're okay. So as soon as that happens and it passes, and there's no taste for a split second. I don't know if you've ever tasted rubbing alcohol by accident, of course, but
like tasteless, but then it like punches you in the mouth.
yes, and then it suddenly becomes dry, like very, like you haven't had a drink all day for whatever reason, and no water, no nothing. And then you look, and you notice that the one that you picked seems to be slightly off-colored to the rest of the ones you have with you. You don't know if this means it's not yet ripe, or it's past, or maybe something is just off about this one, but you notice as you hold it, this thing is dried out from the inside. There's no feeling of freshness to this.
This is not a good one.
Probably not a good. But you've got to, like you said you were grabbing like 6, so you've got another 5 to try your luck on.
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna kind of like look at this and like compare the others and like try and gauge like from the like outside's appearance, like what qualities would be considered ripe versus unripe for this type of fruit, because it is kind of different between fruits.
You're unsure, but from what you can tell, this one looks, and you're able to tell by some of the feel, this one didn't have any give until you bit into it, in which case you can now, it's almost malleable in your hand, but then it takes its shape again. The others, all of them feel the same like this, not as hard as this one was at the beginning.
Okay. So I got the ripe, this was like the most ripe one, and then like the others feel like they're gonna be more juicy.
Yeah, like these, like that one hadn't finished doing its thing, but you bit into it anyway. I don't know if you ever had like an unripe mango, like it hasn't softened at all.
Yeah, I think I get what you mean. Like it's just stiff.
Yeah, some of the flavor's still there, but it still had grown to do.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, you walk back in and you see one of your comrades trying their darndest to get this little doe to stop for just a second and, check out some of the food that she happens to be. And reluctant as he is to stop, he does take some of the dried berries and nuts and just very quickly carps it down and gives you an odd little nod, and then immediately goes back to try and lead you guys. And that's when you'll notice that you are getting very close to the edge of the cliff coastline. Seems to be where he seems to be leading you.
All right. Interesting. Roya, do you want to try this local fruit? See if he likes it?
Is it? Oh, for the deer. Yeah, sure.
I will toss her one of the fresh ones.
What you hope is one of the fresh ones.
Oh, yeah, hopefully one of the fresh ones.
Fingers crossed.
Or at least one of the softer ones, I don't know.
Well, here's hoping. Roya, how do you offer it to the... is this for yourself or for the deer?
You could split it in half as well, if you want to try some of that.
I think I will split it in half. Is this a fruit that needs to be peeled, or...?
It's popping.
You can try. I mean, you saw your friend bite into this.
Is it something that I would be able to, tear in half with my hands, or would I need my dagger?
You could certainly try and see if you could.
I am trying.
Roll me a quick straight.
As a side note, if I was playing a different character, I'd probably save the other one to either sell in town like the ripe one to either like save in town or eat it or study it. I don't know. But V is just gonna chuck it right over his shoulder.
Okay.
Chuck the overripe one over his shoulder.
That's cool. Roll me a quick d4.
Me? Me or her?
This is UV. This is UV.
Oh boy.
You can't litter in the
Cat.
forest.
He's a 1.
That's cool. Yeah, no, you chuck it, and you're never gonna have to worry about that ever again.
Oh?
And y'all
Okay.
continue down the path.
Also,
Never
my
to look
strength
back.
check was definitely not successful. I rolled a 5, so I'm pulling out my dagger and I'm gonna cut this thing in half.
Cool. And you're trying, and you're saying, I'm not asking anymore, and you pull out your dagger and
Yep.
cut this through half.
I did what I could.
I tried peace, it chose violence, and I
Exactly.
respond.
Exactly. And then I will eat half of it and give the other half to the deer. Hold it out for him, see if he wants it.
Awesome. Roll me a quick d20.
I'm also going to split another one of the ripe ones, and I'm going to try splitting that one in half. And
Physically or with a knife?
I'm going to try it with my hands.
Awesome. Just a quick strength check, and once you finish, just a quick d20.
19. And the d20 is 16.
16. Oh, nice. Okay, then.
I'm going to offer the other half to Virtue.
My d20 is a natural 20.
Dang.
Aww.
That's great. And are you offering this to the deer, one half and one for yourself, or how are you doing it?
Yep, half to the deer, half for me.
All right. Who's taking the first bite?
Probably me.
Cool. And as soon as you bite into it, and it is the sweetest bit of fruit you think you've ever tasted.
Oh.
And it's weird because you have no way to really describe what this tastes like because you don't even know what this is. But it's high on that, like, think very sweet mango, pineapple, just that hint of acidity, but not before being overwhelmed by that nice bit of sweetness.
Oh,
It's
delicious.
not overly sweet either, just right. And as soon as your dear companion
Yum yum.
takes a small nibble of that, you can actually see it in his eyes as the pupils dilate to the size of saucers as it scarfs that thing down immediately. And is currently licking your hand to try to get more of these for you.
Nice.
I'm gonna try and pet it now. With my other hand that he's not licking.
And you can roll me an animal handling with advantage. You get to pet him either way, but this is for something else.
15.
15, that is one success. And I need you to keep track of this. You have one failure and one success.
Okay.
And depending on what hits the threshold first, will determine how willing this creature is to be chilled.
Okay.
This is how you normally tame creatures. Sometimes they're a little more violent, sometimes they're a little more chill, but all depends on how well you can cooperate.
Okay.
You gotta attune the creature
Gotta
More
get
or
on
less.
the good side.
I mean,
or bond with it.
look, if you're attacked by a giant desert scorpion and you capture it alive, you slowly feed it things and, occasionally overpower just to show it that you're the one in charge. But you can live a very cool life if it lets you ride on it.
Get on its good side, and yeah.
Taming a
Sweet
giant scorpion. It is worth it. It is hard, but it is worth it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get the right pet for you.
But yeah, no. This slight detour, because it's a good minute of it trying to lick your hand until it can no longer taste that delicious, delicious food. And then it just shakes its head, trying to get back into focus as the sun is slowly starting to set, as most of the day has gone by. But you guys do see a beautiful, not yet sinking, but slowly sinking sunset across the vast ocean.
Pretty.
Yep. As you guys are facing the roughly western side
Nice.
and the sun is starting to go down. And you see this little deer is leading you to what looks like a small alcove of caves and tunnels that seem to be starting and going into the side of a cliff that edges the side of the ocean. And he stops roughly about a mile before the cave, the little grotto starts, and he's essentially just one massive arrow pointing that way.
I guess we know where we're going then.
Mm-hmm. Let's follow that.
Let's check it
I
out.
want to find the creatures.
The creatures. Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
let's check this kid out.
There.
Yes. What is
there.
lurking?
And how do you approach? I'm going to need a marching order for this, as you guys have now been shown to the yet to be named or discovered the name of this odd bit of cove.
Is the deer
Let's see, who's
still
the
leading us, or is
tankiest
it
among
just
us?
kind of
No,
Probably
it pointed out it very
okay?
pointed its way out and just told you that way. That
Okay.
way.
Yeah, no, I will. I can take the front if you guys want. I'm open to what you guys are thinking, but I think I'm probably the tankiest.
You're the most likely to survive if something were to attack.
Sure.
Fair.
I mean, I think just in general, probably most likely to survive, but yeah, something like that.
I'll go second.
I guess that leaves Virtue third.
Let's go.
Cool.
And you enter the cove. And just double check, who here can see in the dark?
I think all of us.
I can.
Can you not?
Roy, can you not?
I
I thought
can.
you were an elf.
Okay.
I do have dark vision, in fact.
Just double checking, you all got dark vision, yes?
Yep.
Yes.
Mm.
And the sun has not yet set. You've likely got maybe another hour to an hour and a half before it does. And with that, you can see, not yet awake, but slowly, groggily moving up top are very large bats aligning the tombs. You can see that well before you enter deeper into it. How do you proceed?
These. I mean, I assume we can probably assume that these large bats are going to be hostile, right? And this is in game to the others.
Oh, most definitely.
So should we just,
More
take them out
likely.
first? Take them out first, before they even wake up, or attempt to.
Do we see any crystals anywhere? I'm gonna try and see what I can from where I
Also,
am.
Someone wants to make me an investigation check?
You want to, or should I?
I'll let you do it.
investigation.
Whoever
Alright.
else could do it. Someone
Go
else
for it.
that's not me. I'm not rolling
You
hot and I
helping?
don't have a modifier. I'll help.
All right, I will roll.
Add
That is
advantage.
add advantage. That is with my bonus a 18.
With an 18, you are able to just out of the corner of your eye spot a few pieces of crystal, tiny, almost flake-like. You've seen them before. There was a big-ass one that one of your party members just, found, noticed, and then dropped back in the ground. Back at the farm.
I think this is the place. So, I think. Do you think these bats are what stole it, or is this just something else in the cave?
I guess we won't know until we go in.
Fair enough. One of us should probably make sure that they don't fly out, because for everyone that flies out, that's 50 gold less than what we were hoping to get. Which I'm hoping to get in this case. It's just
Let's see what I can maybe do about that. I could chill touch him, blast him with that, or with firebolt. Something else.
Just a quick reminder, anything you bring that you have, that you're going to accuse of being what stole this, they told you they have a way to essentially make sure that's what it is. So if you bring them a random head of a creature, they'll be able to know it had nothing to do with it, that's just a creature thing.
Yeah.
So if these are the guys and you bring it in, that's a guaranteed thing, but they'll also be able to tell you that this one wasn't it, but this one is. So collect as many as you want. The more you have, likely, the more it is to get it right.
Still probably, take them out just to be safe.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And how close are you guys getting?
How far into the cave are they?
They are roughly within the first 30 feet inside the cave. Because outside of the cave, you can see there's sunlight in. You can more or less see what's inside until you get roughly 30 feet inside. That's when it starts to get into that hard darkness, which you all can see the outside shapes of, and you can see these creatures there. From your current vantage point, you can see 6 of them in total.
All right.
I've got a range of 120 feet with Eldritch Blast, so we're good.
Yeah, well, you're gonna be the farthest range. I can get into close range, and yeah, you're gonna probably want to. I got a 60-foot range on my daggers, and then I'm assuming you probably got close to 120 as well with your bow.
600. I got a longbow.
Oh yeah, nice.
The sniper, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep.
Sorry. Yeah, no, I think
Professionals have standards.
let's just maybe rush in, Leroy Jenkins, and
I'm always down for a Leroy Jenkins.
Yeah, kill him. How far up are they actually? Out of curiosity, how far up does this cave go?
You can roughly estimate this is either between 30 to 40 feet in the air, depending on the general area. So this stalactites in here kind of make the roof, force the roof down, so these things would have to jam themselves up into one of these to get in that 40-foot range, but most of them are hanging from the tips of each of them, which is well under 30 feet.
Okay. So 40 and 30. So luckily we all have ranged options and are pretty good at them. So should we just, go in and then we have, stand as close to the mouth of the cave so that they have to get past us to get through?
Yeah?
I think that makes sense. Yeah. There might be another exit, but
We'll deal with that if it comes up.
Yeah. And I think let's just try and get the drop on him. And we might want to do that next time because it is getting decently late.
I did want to ask, how far did you guys want to do? Because we can start this little matchup and end it. If you guys feel like it, or we can call it now. Let's pick up the fights next week.
I
open
can
With
keep going
initiative.
for now, but whatever you guys have.
I'm good to stop for now, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm open in general, but, I think it's probably a decent place to hold off.
All right. Everybody's cool with picking up next week?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think if nobody's disagreeing, at least, so.
All right, and I will
Yeah,
leave you
I
off
think
with
we're
one
good.
thing. The one at the very back is double the size of the others, and it
Yes,
has a weird star-like face.
Ooh.
Ooh.
that is good to know. It's almost certainly these
Star-like
things then.
face?
Star-like. Like, I think
Ooh.
like it's got the ears and then like a
It's
snout and then
only
it's like got
one.
two other.
Ears, snout, two horns, but for some reason is almost symmetrical. The others, like a natural bat, you'd think, but these are just overgrown. Like, this is the Australian of all the normal creatures you would see. It's just
Huh.
Fair enough. We're living in Australia.
You know what? That makes a lot of sense, actually.
It's actually, I think, a pretty good description of the whole situation.
Australia with cool magic. People have yet to fight it. So that's how they're able to fight back.
Fantasy Australia. I hear a cat meowing outside my window, but I know it's not one of our cats, and I know that this cat on the street. I'm sorry, this is probably random.
We better go find that kitty.
Not my kitty.
Oh. Well, you
No,
could have another kitty.
I think it's probably just one of my neighbor's cats. I think it already has an owner.
Ah,
There's a danger. It's just adopting
other
cats.
neighborhood mooches.
I'm sorry, I kind of interrupted. I think to wrap up.
Oh, no, you're fine. Thank you very much for DMing Siler.
Not a problem. Great to have you guys.
Yeah.
And I hope y'all enjoy. And we will pick up next week as you guys begin your
All
assault on the mystery Sea Cove.
Ooh.
Sea Cove.
Dun dun
I'm very
dun.
excited.
We'll see how this unfolds.
Dun.
And yeah, it sounds like you changed plans between these sessions. So
So yeah, no, it's the
Yeah,
same thing,
that's
but I was
fine.
going to have you essentially go up a mountain. But then, because I based this
Okay.
off of like the book I have. Let's get just a bunch of awesome adventures that I could just make everything out of, which is great. And I think
is it? Sorry. Is it the Questonomicon or is it a different one? Because I know that there's multiple. Or like that. There's the Questonomicon, and then I think there's a more recent one.
I know I have the Questonomicon, and I'm looking to get the more recent one. This one is one.